Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Reality Right After. I am your host, Wellington Gomez. And with me today, I have the owner and host of No Chaser TV, Chase Brown.
Yes. Thank you for having me, Wellington.
How are you?
I am good. It's just so interesting to hear people say the owner or the da 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 and then get to my name, girl. I love to hear.
Catch. Well, we have an amazing episode for you today, so make sure that you guys subscribe to our channel at The Reality Rundown, because this is where you see us. But if you're listening to us on the podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts or Spotify, make sure that you are subscribed to our podcast, okay? And moving forward, let's just get into this episode because we have a lot to talk about, a lot of reality TV to chat about, and a lot of mess to get through. So first and foremost, Married to Medicine. Married to Medicine season 11 episode 5, blow up on the ranch, honey. Toya hosted a Cowboy Carter themed photo shoot while they were away in their little glamping trip that Phaedra put together, giving the ladies strict instructions on how to pose. Her feedback ranged from feel your fears and you look unfocused, and she just wanted to control every. Do you feel like Toya was doing too much?
Toya's used to controlling everything at home with her children. We see how she is with her friends, and so it does not surprise me that she's this way at a photo shoot where we have actually officially given her control. You get what I'm saying?
Right. So she's feeling it because, like,
absolutely.
The
now
control
I officially
is
have control.
Right. Well, this season, this session featured a Beyonce tribute artist, Miss Chalet, who I was really happy to see. We have seen I don't want to maybe resurgence, because there was a time in Bravo where there was a lot of drag queens that used to come out or used to be featured on the shows, specifically Real Housewives of Atlanta, Real Housewives of Miami. But more now, there's a resurgence in drag queens when it comes to, and drag artists when it comes to the Real Housewives. So I'm really excited to see that, because we see that a lot on Salt Lake City. We see that a lot on Potomac. And now Married to Medicine, honey. I love to see the ladies supporting the LGBTQ community. Miss Chalet, who is, again, a Beyonce tribute artist, came in riding a horse, delivering a memorable surprise, and she was there to coach the ladies. This was supposed to be a Cowboy Carter themed photo shoot, so we can't get Beyonce, so we got Miss Chalet. While during the dinner scene, Quad delivered a dramatic speech accusing the group of trying to bury her during past conflicts, specifically while in Napa. We have now moved on from Napa. Do you feel like Quad is in the right to say these things to the lady and reshare her feelings about how bad Napa was?
You know, listen, everybody knows that before I get into this, I'm going to bring up her name. Hashtag Team Mariah Huck. Okay, always and forever. But she's no longer here in the physical with us on the show. So I want to make that very clear on the show. So all that aside, I just wanted to go ahead and let everybody know where I stand when it comes to that, right? But Quad is absolutely right. It's just very theatrical. It's just very overthetop.com. It is over the river and through the woods. It is above and beyond. It is extra credit. It is team too much. But after all of those things that it is, she is also right, because have we actually had a conversation about how you ladies treated me in Napa and given me an apology for with full accountability in the way that you guys wanted me to give you while I was in Napa, before you put me out and showed me to the door and got me down to the trip and did not have a room for me and all of those things and kicked me out of my bathrobe and my bonnet, you know, like the things that you guys did, they were not. And then I really have an issue with because Toya says in that scene, and I'm gonna just be honest with you, girl, a lot of the apologies you got, it was just to, shut you up. It was to pacify you. And Dr. Jackie's apology does not sit right with me whatsoever. And
why?
The reason why Dr. Jackie's apology doesn't sit right with me, because I'm gonna give you a blank check for anything that you think I ever did. Just write it down, and that's my apology.
Disingenuous, no?
That
a blank check for whatever I did.
What did you do?
I find it really difficult.
You tell me what you did.
to
Because
believe
you're the one
something.
apologizing, not me.
Exactly. Like when someone is trying to apologize for something and they don't say exactly what they're apologizing for, it's not taking any ownership. It's just like Toya said, they're just trying to shut you up.
Absolutely. And Toya hit the nail on the head. And I am so glad. People always, every season, it's a battle of whether Toya should stay or Toya should go. We don't get to the real a lot of the times if it's not for people like Toya who just say, girl, listen.
Right.
They only told you that because of this, and this is why. And Quiet knew she wasn't lying because Toya has the inside scoop. She may not be as close with Dr. Jackie or Dr. Heavenly, but she is close with Dr. Simone, so she know what the hell going on in that
Mm-hmm.
circle. Who particularly seems to want to run what they feel like this show should be, which is they feel like this show should be 6 friends that are closely knitted, involved in each other's lives, who just so happen to have a camera following them. Newsflash: ideally, it should be that, but every group of 6 or more, or even 4 or more, there are people who are closer with others than others, but we're still all friends, or we're
Right.
still all friendly, or we still kick it. That doesn't make me any less your friend. It's just that I'm not, well, maybe it does make me less your friend. I'm not as close to you as Dr. Heavenly is close to you, but I don't dislike you, girl. We cool. So that means to say, because I don't do everything with you all the time and I don't check in on you throughout the year, newsflash, phones work both ways. Uh, but because I don't do that and you're not really doing that, that means that I don't get to film a show and collect my check. Stop
Right.
it, I say.
Right. No, I completely agree with you. And again, Quad delivered an Emmy level performance when,
Get
you
her to the
know,
round table, Wellington. I didn't mean to cut you off, but get her to the round table. Get her to traders immediately. I've been advocating for that for the last year.
she needs to go on Traders.
I could just see her now. I've been let out. Well, I was asleep last night waiting for the traitors to murder me. And you mean to tell me we get to this round table today and each and every one of you think I'm a traitor? Yes, Quad. We did.
You wrote that line for her. She's gonna use that when she goes on Traders.
Quad, holla at me, girl. You can use it.
Girl. No, all the girls should holla at you to write their lines for the seasons before the
Some of
season
them
start.
have. I won't go there, though. Catch that dirt. There have been a couple who have asked the dog what to say and then got scared to say it, child. I got a story I'll tell you off there.
Child. So again, the underlying tension stemmed from alleged attempts by cast members to have her removed from the show. So I don't feel like we got anywhere in this episode when it came to Quad, getting through the ladies, because Heavenly dinner turned volatile as soon as Heavenly and Contessa starting addressing each other.
Well, let me say this before we get into that. The reason why I feel that we don't get anywhere with the Napa situation is because Quad does a great job of telling everyone how they hurt her, but she up until maybe this last episode had not done a great job telling them what she needed to move forward. They were very great at telling her, listen, we're gonna kick you out of every trip. You can't film this show until you get down on your knees and apologize to everything that you ever did to us since season 1.
Right.
So they were very clear what they needed. And she has not necessarily been the clearest because she has not been able to, for one reason or the other, maybe she was cut off or maybe it was cut out, but really clearly explain to the group what she needed to move on from Napa until I guess this past weekend, which we may get into.
Well,
but you were saying Heavenly and Contessa.
Yeah, heavily accused Contessa of misplaced anger, saying, "Do that shit with your husband," referencing accusations of abuse in Contessa's marriage. So Contessa is still denying that Dr. Scott has ever put her hands on her. Some of the things that Contessa say that Heavenly feels are abusive is the way that Dr. Scott really doesn't communicate with Contessa, or the fact that he has the associating personality. Dr. Heavenly is still standing on the fact that Dr. Contessa is being abused by Dr. Scott, even though Dr. Contessa, she's saying that's not true. Stop saying that about my husband. I've never been physically abused by my husband. I don't think Heavenly is talking about physical abuse. How do you see it?
I'm just gonna be very honest with Dr. Contessa. I have not, me and you have had, I guess, if you want to call it the pleasure, but we followed these ladies for a while, thanks to you on the reality rundown, thanks to, me being on No Chaser TV. We just followed this story for a while, and a
Yeah.
lot of that comes with consuming a lot of Dr. Heavenly's YouTube content. So, what I will say is that Dr. Heavenly has not necessarily commented on anything that Contessa has not said on camera or has not alluded to on camera and then had other people say for her. For instance, when Contessa did not say that she wouldn't say if she filed for divorce, and she looked at Quad at the reunion and Quad said it for her. Qua confirmed it for her. So she does a lot of the dropping of, she did a lot back in the day of dropping the hints and the nuggets and letting people pick them up. And she not necessarily saying them, but she dropped the hint and it was out there, or it was discussed on camera, or we saw with our own two eyes what the behavior looked like. Now, I will not comment on whether or not I feel that he is abusive. That is not my business, because that is not something that I am privy to. And if any of us call someone something that we have no evidence and no knowledge of, we're doing everyone a disservice. Those who are actually being abused and those who are not abusing people and being accused of it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
don't want to make light of that when I'm speaking in the physical sense. From what I've seen on television and the way that they've gone back and forth throughout the seasons, this being Contessa and Scott regarding what to do in their relationship, whether she should go to school or not, who's gonna raise the kids, well, we're gonna get a nanny. Is there a girlfriend like the daughter alleged that he had a girlfriend or something like that? I mean, that is abusive. So to me, that's emotionally abusive, what I've seen them go through. So
Right.
I would venture to say, yes, he is emotionally abusive based off of what you guys have presented, because they can't show it to us if you don't film it.
Right. Right. And like you said, Heavenly
Or he
has been
was. Maybe he's changed. I don't know.
me. I think it's even hard to say maybe he's changed because Contessa is standing on the fact that he never was, right? So Heavenly also stands on the fact that I'm only talking about the things that you have talked about. I'm only talking about the things, I'm not mentioning anything that we haven't seen. And also, you know that I know more things about you, and I'm not saying those things. So it seems we all know from all of the women that talk about Contessa and Heavenly's relationship say that they were really close. They
Mm-hmm.
used to call each other all the time, they used to be the rock to each other. So I find it interesting that Heavenly's holding back a little bit when it comes to airing Contessa out. Don't you
Because
think?
they were friends.
Exactly. So I just find that really
Now,
hilarious.
what I will say is wrong with Dr. Heavenly in this situation is, if you're my friend, don't comment on it, period.
Mm,
And I feel like that is what Contessa should be upset with, whether it was on the television screen, whether it was, I'm your good girlfriend, I'm your good Judy. Why are you commenting on this? For people on, certain people look down on YouTube. I think it's a wonderful medium and a wonderful platform to
yeah.
connect, but people feel like you talking to the YouTube people. Why are you validating, answering their questions about my shit? Like, don't do that. You're my friend. Be my
Hmm.
friend. And when we film on the show, that's one thing. But you continuously talking off of, first of all, you continuously talking about it without me there. Second of all, you continuously talking about it and further giving this thing legs instead of just letting it die down until next season. And third of all, you can further continuing to talk about it and you're monetizing off of it. Girl, stop. But Contessa has not said that's her issue. So
Contessa starts going off on Heavenly that nobody in her life likes her. She has to buy people. Damon and Heavenly allegedly sleep in separate bedrooms, and that Damon might have an illegitimate children outside from the marriage. Dr. Jackie doesn't believe that any of the allegations are true, especially specifically the one about illegitimate children, and Quad doesn't believe that too. Do you believe Contessa's claims?
no, you didn't. Do I believe Contessa's claims? As I just mentioned, I'm a facts girl. I'm a proof. I'm an evidence girl. So if there's no child that you can bring me, then I'm not going to further validate or substantiate that rumor. What I will say though is, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And you can't. And when I say that, I mean that for both Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Contessa. Because Contessa, when, well, I'll hold off. I'll hold off. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. But do I believe that? I don't believe it. I choose not to believe it. I choose not to believe it.
One of the funny moments from this episode was when Heavenly's nipple popped out. Did you peep that?
No, because I'm not looking for that. Heaven stuff.
All of the ladies couldn't help but laugh. Heavenly was screaming with her boob out. And all of them try to put her boob away. My titties are like Toya's house. They just keep moving all over the place.
She knows she wrong for that.
One titty over here, one titty over there. They just keep moving.
Can I say I've had the pleasure of being in one of Toya's homes? It was amazing just to see. Like, I've never been in a house that big in my life. It was the season 3 home. Now we can just pinpoint it by season. So the season 2, season 3, they moved out of it. Season 4, that home that they always put Toya's rented mansion at the bottom of it. That house was just amazing. Like, you have to go up like this hill, and it just was
gorgeous.
It was fabulous. It was fabulous.
Sweet Tea tries to calm Contessa down. Heavenly says to Sweet Tea, "Yeah, bonding over both of your husbands ain't being shit."
I mean, she ate her up. And, T was like, let me tell you something. You want me to beat your ass right now? Because I don't have no way to come back.
What Sweet Tea said, your husband don't fuck with you. He wouldn't touch you with his big toe, and that's the truth.
Well, I thought that was funny, but a lot of people thought it was not a good read. Come on, this Sweet Tea we talking about.
I thought it was a good read from Sweet Tea.
I thought it was a good read too. I don't know. Like, he
I mean, honey, like, you gotta let Sweet Tea get warm, get hot. I feel like it was a good read in the moment. It was the best she's had to, like, because Sweet Tea does get caught up in the moment and she freezes sometimes.
She doesn't want to fight.
Do you think she doesn't want to fight, or do you think she's not quick?
Oh, she does. What I'm saying, like, physically, some people are not readers. Some people want to just reach out and touch. You know what I'm saying? And Sweet Tea's a reach out and touch kind of girl. Like, if there was no cameras, there would have been a fight.
Poor Simone, she was just bouncing all over the room trying to calm everybody down. Contessa and Heavenly continue to go back and forth. Heavenly says, "Your mama's stupid." And Contessa says, "My mom is stupid? My mom who died in 2010? And Heavenly responds, "Your mama's stupid. Yes. You's a dumb.
First of all, I am from Florida, right? So when she says from Florida, yeah, we do say "your mama,"
right?
We do. That's something we say. I stopped saying it because I said it to someone who I knew in a joking way. "Your mama," right? She said something to me. I said, "Your mama," and it escaped me that her mom had actually passed away, and she was really emotionally affected by it, even though she knew the spirit in which it was coming from was not a negative place. And so when I saw her reaction, I said, I'm not doing it again. Plus, let me tell you something. Even though I'm from Florida, even though and let me just take it out. Let me keep it real. That's not joking. So Dr. Heavenly always, it's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. Maybe it's a joke in southern Miami, which is southern Florida, which is Miami. But the northern part of Florida, where I'm from, baby, we don't joke about your mama, because my mama, yeah, go ahead. In the words of Dr. Phaedra, in the words of Phaedra, yeah, go ahead and beat her up. That's fighting words. When we say your mama, you want to fight. I don't care if my mama living. I don't care if my mama is gone. Don't you ever your mama me.
Right.
So that's from a Floridian. That's my take on the your mama thing. But I think it is quite interesting that when the Yo Mamas was thrown at the creator of the series, Contessa was there for the majority of them and sat by idle. Even when Mariah asked the people to beg, they jump in and stop her from saying that kind of stuff. She was, I do vividly remember Contessa getting up and saying, this has nothing to do with me, da 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 da. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Also, even though Dr. Heavenly was wrong with speaking on someone's mother and speaking on, especially someone's deceased mother, Contessa, you were just wrong 5 minutes ago for airing out the fact that allegedly he has a biracial child and that you have to buy your daughter a store.
Wait, biracial?
Mixed kinds babies, right? That's what she said. I believe she said mixed kinds baby. Anyway, the word on the street is that allegedly Dr. Damon, like,
not a No Chaser TV exclusive. Go ahead.
No, that's not an exclusive. I have not confirmed it. That's not exclusive.
It's not confirmed, honey.
That, but I'm saying it's alleged that he likes them white. Allegedly, that's the alleged, right? So she said mixed kinds babies running around. she was referring to the fact, she was also hinting and alleging to the fact that, playing into the rumor that he likes that kind of thing. Those are rumors.
Yeah.
Those are not facts. But she was hitting Dr. Heavily really hard and really heavy. And so Dr. Heavily hit her back really hard and really heavy. But again, what's good for the goose is good for the what, Wellington? Gander. You see what I'm saying? You cannot say things about people, and when they respond back to you in kind, then now you want to fight. You get what I'm saying?
Right. So
At least that's
Contessa
what we
did get
see on
up.
television.
Contessa was furious. She wanted to square up with Heavenly. Heavenly immediately called security to step in. Contessa's like, eat your shit, you clown. Continue to pay your husband to stay.
Ooh, nasty work. I wonder how much that costs.
How much you think? Let's put a digit on it.
I don't know, because
he's a doctor.
He's a doctor, so it's gonna be pretty high. He doesn't need it.
Penny, honey.
Yeah, no wonder he doesn't need it.
No wonder she's still doing cavities and stuff at Heavenly's. Anyways, Jackie gets knocked to the floor. Do you see Jackie?
It's the most interesting thing she's done in seasons.
She was trying to hold Contessa down, but Contessa, you have to understand, like, when Contessa gets furious, get out the way.
Just get out of the way.
Contessa was in the army. Like, get out the way.
I've seen her in person from afar. She doesn't know that I've seen her, because it was like we were at a Kanye West concert and I was just walking past and I was like, oh my God, that's Contessa. She's cut.
I mean, you can see it. You can see it when she puts
but in person,
anything,
I was like, whoa.
When she has her arms out, when she has anything that's short, baby, shredded. She stays in the gym, honey.
Yeah, she's shredded. I wouldn't even want to cross her.
Sweet Tea tried to help Jackie get up. And she says in confessional, well, I feel bad for the elderly when they weak and they fall.
So I mean, it's probably because they were calling her a young little girl, so.
You see, Sweet Tea gets her lashings in.
Yeah, she does. And I think people are so mad at her anytime she says anything, but they say stuff about her all the time.
All the time.
I don't care.
Contessa is furious over the deep, dark place that Heavenly goes when she's fighting. In a golf cart, Jackie keeps telling Heavenly to be quiet, but Heavenly keeps running her mouth. And Jackie's just telling her, be quiet. Be quiet. Jackie starts crying because Heavenly won't stop saying things she knows she'll end up regretting. Toya feels like Contessa and Heavenly are in an old school abusive relationship where you burn the world down and then the next day they'll love each other. Do you agree with Toya?
I think that those relationships do and have always existed. I think that at this point, no. Maybe we'll get to a point where they can be like in the same room, cordial, film the scenes, and give us the happy-go-lucky, da-da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? But I don't think they're ever going to be friends again.
Well, Jackie and Heavenly walk back to the dinner. Toya, Contessa, and Sweet Tea leave the dinner. Toya says Heavenly is hurt and was raised in hurt. She didn't have a relationship with her mother or her sister and now struggles with her friends too. That was a lot.
I mean, Heavenly has given us that insight, though, that her relationships with both her mom and her sister were tumultuous. And I think that I would almost agree with Toya, but I think Heavenly has the relationship she wants to have. She values that relationship with Jackie. She values that relationship with Daddy. She values the relationship with the babies.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. I think it was I don't fault Toya for making that analysis. I mean, it's somewhat of a good analysis when you look at everybody that she has falling out with, but at the same time, she is Heavenly is capable of keeping some relationships alive and not being so gutter with certain people. Quad tells Heavenly that I like the fact that Quad held Heavenly accountable, and she said that your mama coming gotta go, and that she was wrong for saying that. Jackie asks the group if there's anything else that they need to hash out, and I wonder in that moment I wondered, is there anything for Jackie to hash out? Because
like an apology, a real one.
Well, Quad Quad brings up the fact that Toya said the ladies only apologized to shut her up. Jackie says she meant her apology. Quad said nobody checked on her. She was depressed. She stopped eating, and she even lost weight.
Mm.
And then Phaedra says maybe
What?
Phaedra in confessional says maybe we should give her one of our kidneys because this Napa issue is never going away.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, because you keep telling us what we did to you, but you're not telling us how we fix it. Up until you know what I'm saying, she does. But I did want to say, you mentioned earlier about Quad, you liking Quad holding Dr. Heavily accountable. I would venture to say that it is about 6 to 7 seasons too late, in my opinion. I just think it's a bunch of BS.
But don't you think even though it's too late, don't you think it's still right?
Yeah.
Simone says if Napa was the worst thing, then she wouldn't have let her in. Simone doesn't think that Napa was the worst thing that they have ever done to Quad, because if it was the worst thing, then she doesn't feel like she would have let them in. But in reality, in my head, I'm like, there's still a show to be, like you said, there's still a show to be filmed, and there's still checks to be cashed. So while Quad feels like this might have been the worst thing, that is not going to keep her from showing up to do her job.
Well, strategically, it wouldn't have been a good thing to confront them on, because at that point they felt like the power balance was in their favor, as it had not actually already aired. So it's like, okay, we letting you film again, and you want us to apologize to you for something that we feel like we're justified in and you did wrong. Because
Right.
make no bones about it, I really feel like a lot of Dr. Simone's confusion with the whole Napa thing is how they were all in agreement that it was going to happen, and then how everyone tucked tail and went back and apologized when Dr. Simone is like, no, we meant it, so why are we doing that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they've kind of left her on the boat to shoulder all of the blame and responsibility for Napa, as well as her own actions at reunion. And so I will be frustrated with Heavenly, Jackie, and Toya for like tucking tail and apologizing for Napa, when it's like, we all came up with this together. So what's that about? It's
Right.
like they all went and robbed the bank, and Simone
Someone
only
has to
one
pay
got
the
caught. And she the
consequences.
only one got caught. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And also in a way it's like why is kind of like onto Simone to apologize for the whole Napa situation, you know? Quad says she was mad about what Simone said at the reunion. I won't repeat it. And Simone says she was wrong, you know? I was wrong. I'm wrong for what I said, and I am sorry. Simone
But
says
hold on, I'm sorry, Wellington, but about that reunion comment, right?
Mhm.
I often feel that when you have friends and you're really trying to convey to them the weight of the situation,
Take it
you
there.
go through A to Z, right? So like A to Z meaning, A, this is what this is what you did wrong, blah, 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 this is what I did wrong.
Mhm.
You talk about the whole thing, and that situation that unfortunately occurred with Quad is something that played a part into Quad and Dr. Simone's relationship as well. So it definitely needed to be mentioned and discussed at length the way that Simone did it. That was not the time nor the place.
It was not the time or the place. But I, like you said, I understand the reason why
I
Simone
do
did
too.
it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't, if it was me in Simone's shoes, I probably would have done the same thing. No shade.
Mm-mm. Well, I would. Oh, please, Simone, stop it. Oh, please. Oh, Simone, just stop it. I, I'm different. You probably would have got stopped in the eye because I asked you not to.
Mm. Well,
I
Simone
asked you
says
more than once.
she did ask more than once. Simone says she doesn't want to bring any more pain in her life. Jackie starts to pray over Quad. Quad is literally sobbing, and Phaedra is on the side rolling her eyes.
Cause what? And then Jackie was like a preacher when they feel like, not all of them, but some of them feel like when they got you in that breakthrough spirit and
Yeah,
you got to
yeah.
break through to your next dimension, they pray for hallelujah, loose at Jesus right now, loose her right now. And she just I just want to loose it. I just want my contract. That's what this is about.
Well, the next morning, Quad is telling her man everything, honey. It was cute to see Quad finally like in that position where she gets to call her man
That's a
uh,
man.
after a bad night, and she was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, baby. Oh, she did that. Oh, he was listening, honey." Some of the girls went horse riding, and Contessa says she doesn't believe she's responsible for Jackie's fall last night after Contessa kind of knocked her over. Jackie says she's not really hurt, but this is a lesson for the girls to learn what could happen if things get too physical.
Girl.
But she was faking it though the next day.
Right. Right, girl. Get on some. Okay.
Quad and Heavenly and Jackie are poolside. She brings up the fact that she's the chairwoman of the Met Gala this year. The girls tell Heavenly that her mama comments are not okay and she needs to stop that. Heavenly says she knows she's wrong, but she doesn't mean literally their mama. She
So
gave
whose
us
mama
the
is it? Whose mama is it?
Jackie doesn't understand how things go crazy between Contessa and Heavenly at all. Even though Contessa feels like the girls know exactly why.
They do. They do.
So do you think Dr. Jackie is just like in a way protecting Dr. Heavenly?
Absolutely.
Interesting. I will take Dr. Jackie as someone that will hold her accountable.
Not on camera. Not on camera, seriously. I've seen her say, now Heavenly. Now, ooh, child. Ooh, now you know you wrong for that. You got to do better than that. Not a serious girl. That is flat out, like not a serious stern talking to. I've never seen it.
Yeah. Let me hold your hand while I say this type. Phaedra is talking to Contessa and says that even though she's had great conversations with Heavenly, after last night, she sees the mean girl that everyone talks about. And that's where we see the rift start between Heavenly and Phaedra, which kind of plays out in real time now as we're watching the show air. They're not really fucking with each other, especially with all of the comments that Phaedra has said about Married to Medicine while she was on Dancing with the Stars, and taking credit for the ratings going up and for reviving the franchise. Was that interesting to you to see that Phaedra was in a way saying that she does believe that Heavenly is a mean girl?
No, I think it takes one to know one.
Moving on. Cecil, Greg, and Scott go ATV riding. The men discuss how the ladies are probably not getting along in the camping trip. Damon comes over to Eugene's house for cigars. So I love when they do this. I love when they separate the men and some are doing this, some are doing that, and we're going from scene to scene, seeing what they're really talking about. They enjoy their time together and they're glad that they can get some alone time. Eugene brings up the tension between Damon and Greg. Eugene says that Greg may feel dismissed by Damon. Damon says he wished he spoke up and, said how he felt if he actually was feeling some type of way. I do feel like Dr. Damon is very reasonable. Do you?
No, I don't.
Why not?
I think that he has been smug. I think that he has been very passive, aggressive, like, oh, your feelings are hurt, or whatever he said to Greg that one time. Greg was trying to explain to him why, he was upset. I don't think that he's necessarily, I think he's been a little cold. I don't think that he's been what I would feel you need to be in order to move past the situation. And the situation is, the wives are one thing. I haven't said shit about your wife. Tell her to keep me out of it. You know what I mean? And he hasn't been like, okay, I've seen him in the past on this show make, pacts where like him and Aiden were like, we're going to do better. We're going to make sure that, they keep us out of it and we're going to try to keep them. He has not given that to Dr. G, and I would think that his relationship probably would have been better with Dr. G than Dr. Aiden because they also have a business professional relationship. And I know that he feels that a lot of people should not penalize, the professional side of the relationship. But when when the love ain't right, the money's not going to be right for a lot of people. And Dr. G seems to be one of those type of people because I feel like he's definitely retaliating silently by refusing patients, whether he says he is or he isn't.
Yeah. So, like you said, Dr. Damon has claimed that he has referred some patients to Dr. G, and Dr. G is refusing those referrals. So it is getting now into the business, and I find it interesting because the women can go really, really dark, but the men fight and argue in a different way, and they cut in a different way. They cut in the I'm getting to your money. I don't have to air you out and dug you out on camera. when you send me those referrals that you need, I'm not doing them. I'm not seeing your patients. So I found that to be really interesting. In the other side, Greg says that nobody got time for Heavenly and her antics, and he's kind of really really over Heavenly, talking about him and her and his marriage with Sweet Tea. I
I
mean,
would be too.
I would be too. I can understand him.
Yeah.
Eugene says he feels like Greg is having a lot of internal conflict right now because he has a new wife, and this new wife is now in a group with his ex-wife, and it's just a lot. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, but they also signed the contracts. So
Clock it. Damon says he thinks he's bigger than he is, being the bigger man, and feels cool about the way that he has acted towards Dr. Greg, which I find interesting because he is okay with the way that he has treated Dr. Gregory, and he really doesn't see the wrong in his actions. Back at the trip, the ladies have one last dinner. Phaedra says it's been scary, but they can come. They came to the camping trip to heal and to get better. Contessa apologizes by her behavior, and everyone says they feel like yesterday was too much. Contessa feels like the ladies are letting Heavenly off the hook. Do you feel like the ladies are letting Heavenly off the hook?
yes, I do.
I
Well,
mean, Toya did kind of,
well,
you
I
know,
don't know. What more? What does she want them to do? What? I mean, what is
the
accountability like? What does she want them to do? Is what I would like to know.
right. Everyone keeps saying that they don't understand how things got so sad, so bad between them. Contessa feels like it was clear why she showed out because
I agree with
Heavenly talked
Contessa.
about her mama.
Yeah,
So it's like, are y'all literally avoiding the fact that she literally called? But at the same time,
but they've all said they
Quad,
don't like the your mama thing. All of them have said.
yeah, and maybe they need to do it in front of Contessa so that Contessa can feel validated. But I mean, I do think there is a level of getting through Heavenly when it's in a controlled environment. And I think that's what Quad and Jackie did when they were poolside. And they told her, listen, like, you got to stop those things. And we're telling you as your friend, she's not here. We're not doing it because she's here. We're telling you as your friend. So Contessa needs to, again, they're not seeing what's being recorded on the other side, but they are kind of holding Heavenly accountable, in my opinion.
More than they've ever really done so in the past, to be honest with you. They've always let her run wild. They've always let her say what she wants. Excuse me. Always have let her say what she wants to say and do as she's wanted to do. This is the most that I've heard them kind of voice any opposition to her antics. So
Yeah. Well, Heavenly and Contessa, does your thing keep falling?
no, it just failed this one time. But
Heavily, because you know the trick, right, on how to position it.
no.
So you wanna make sure that the arm that's holding the mic, it's like
Uh-huh.
on top of a leg, so they're parallel.
On top of a who? Oh. Oh.
So then it doesn't.
Wait. Okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
Can
Heavily
you
and
still hear me?
Contessa. Huh? Yeah, I
You can
can
still.
still hear you. I can still hear
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Let me see.
Oh, on top of a leg. I get what you're saying, like this.
Yeah, like so it's parallel.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So Heavenly and Contessa agreed to let things be organic, and if they come together, let it be. Some of the girls are like, like what do you guys need to move on? What do you guys need to move on? And it's like sometimes you don't need to keep pushing two people to reconcile. Let it be organic. Let it just be. At least they're agreeing to that, in my opinion.
I agree too. Sometimes love takes time to heal when you're hurting so much. Word to Mariah Carey. Shout out, Lambs.
Contessa back in ATL. Contessa and Scott are home. Contessa is talking to Scott about the things that are happening in the trip. They start talking about it all. Contessa tells Scott that Heavenly called him abusive because he has a avoidant personality, which she hates about, Scott. Scott says he doesn't like to argue, and if that means he's abusive, then so be it. He's the type that when Contessa starts yapping, he walks out the room. When Contessa starts saying anything, he walks out the room, and that could be abusive, in my
That
opinion,
can be
because
a case of emotional abuse. Welington says,
yeah,
emotionally, I'm trying to connect with you, and you're not doing that with me and having these hard conversations. So therefore, it is taking a toll on me and being abusive.
yeah. Well, Contessa told Dr. Scott that Heavenly said "fuck your mama," and Dr. Scott was not having that. He was actually really upset with the fact that Heavenly said that, especially knowing that Contessa's mom died in 2010. So like, please
Hmm.
let's have some respect over the deceased.
Yeah, absolutely.
The last scene of the episode, we see Jackie's having over her party planner for the Met Gala. And also Phaedra walks in because Phaedra is co-chairing the Met Gala this year. I found it really interesting that she asks Phaedra to co-share and not someone in the medical community. Anyways, Phaedra says that she can raise at least $100,000. Did you believe Phaedra when she said that?
Absolutely. As many times as she's been to Lagos, many times she's been to Dubai. Yes, I do.
I'm even getting my names wrong.
Yeah.
Phaedra says that she raises money all the time in Atlanta. She says
Oh,
she's one
okay.
of the best fundraisers she knows. Jackie says she's nervous about the fact that if Phaedra is gonna pull in this 100K. So it's just funny because Jackie's like, okay, well, if you can pull in 100K, call someone right now. Call them. And Phaedra starts to call someone. And they don't pick up.
It's Friday. It was Friday night in Lagos.
It was
It's Friday night in Dubai, baby. They out. Just know I'm gonna get you the coins, okay? And the reason why she put Phaedra's on there is because Phaedra has the most name recognition out of any of them. And when you co-chair, you want to put
yeah,
people who are heavy
that's true.
hitters on your board to make people want to give more money.
That's true. That's true.
So it's very smart. So she knows Phaedra's worth. She's worth her $100,000 in name and weight and gold and all of that stuff, and she'll get
Mhm.
it. I feel like she's gonna get it by hook or by crook. Like not by hook or by crook, but she's gonna get the money. Just as she paid uh Todd for the rest of that booty DVD workout video right before the season 8 reunion. She's gonna get the coins, honey.
She's gonna get the coins. And she said even if she doesn't get the coins fundraise, she can write a check.
Oop, there it is. So what else? I would say, okay.
You know?
What
And
else is
and my
going on?
and my whole thing is like, Jackie, if she says she can write a check, then forget about the fundraising. Who cares if y'all don't fundraise no money? If Phaedra's willing to donate $50,000, who cares? That's all I'm saying. Well, that's where the last episode ended. Overall thoughts on Married to Medicine. Are you liking it this season?
I always enjoy Married to Medicine.
Me
It's
too.
my favorite show. One of my favorite shows. It's always been one of my favorite shows. It's time to bring Mariah back.
You think so?
Absolutely. It's time to bring the M Dog back. I call it the M Dog. The M Dog. The
How do you
Mariah.
think? How do you think we bring Mariah back in an organic way? Let's say season 11. I mean season 12.
Uh, if Sweet Tea stays through Sweet Tea, because Sweet Tea is friendly with Mariah, Toya, Simone, there are ways that they could bring her back. Quad is open to it. Dr. Heavenly is open to it. So there are
So my
ways.
whole thing is okay. So it seems like there are people that Mariah could be attached to on this cast, and the people that used to be her opposition are okay with her coming back on the show. What do you think what's stopping from Mariah coming back?
Her and the production team.
You think
Her and Purveyors of Pop.
you think she
There
wants
has
she wants more power and they're not trying to give it to her, or what? Like,
I don't have the specifics. I do know that there has always been issues between the two parties, and she had to threaten to go legal to get whatever she needed.
mhm.
So anytime it can't be just like settled, like a conversation, and it has to go that route, it leads me to believe it's pretty bad. Like, how bad could it be that you sacrifice one of your most popular cast members just because you don't want to deal with whatever you guys are dealing with? Like, a lot of people would kind of deal with it, like, they'll deal with it in order to put the show first.
Right.
And I think the ladies have done an amazing job without her. But there has been something consistently missing. And now we've seen you tried to plug and play people who are not even doctors people who are not even married, ex-wives,
Right.
friends of. You've tried every which way to fill that void that she left. You even brought in another Indian woman. Catch that dirt. You brought in an Indian woman. You get what I'm saying? You've
Mm-hmm.
done everything. We've done everything. We brought in Anila. That didn't work out. You know, Mariah's issue was that they didn't show her Bangladeshi heritage and all that stuff. So what did they actually brought in an Indian woman. That
Mm-hmm.
didn't work out. Then we bring in Southern Belle herself, quick witted, quick at the draw, silver, sharp tongue, Phaedra Parks, who is not a doctor or a doctor's wife, girlfriend, doctor, anything. But we brought her in because of the what, as we mentioned earlier, name recognition, the Real Housewives of Atlanta brand. And yes, Phaedra Parks did bring eyes to to Married to Medicine. She did. She was on a roll with traders. She brought eyes over, but when people finally got to watch Married to Medicine, they liked the other characters because Phaedra actually did not give on screen. Let's keep it a buck. And now that Candy is gone from the Real Housewives of Atlanta, now she's back over there, right? Where she wanted to be all along. And you see how you mentioned earlier how the girls were talking about Phaedra. Well, Phaedra mentioned that in the press, right? So Phaedra did
Yeah.
mention that she had
She was asked about
right.
her impact on Married to Medicine, and she said that, does she take she was asked if she takes credit for the resurgence of Married to Medicine and all of the new ratings and etc. And she says, look at the numbers. Ever since
It's
I've been
true.
there, they're higher.
It's true. She got them there, but she didn't keep them there. She's gotten them there, but she's not what's keeping them there, if that makes sense.
But do you think
Um,
it's on one person to keep them there? Like, I got us here. Now let's all work.
well, I mean, she does not she's just now about to start having to work on the
Mm,
show. But when I say she got them there, she didn't keep them there. The other ladies did. And that's what they should do. Nobody did anything wrong. You know what I mean? But do I look at her as the savior of this show? No, I do not. I look at her as someone who they leveraged her platform to continue their show, and she leveraged a check to continue paying her bills. That's how I look at it.
well,
So as I was saying, let me just wrap it up. As I was saying, they brought her on. They brought in the ex-wife of, they brought in a new wife of Dr. G and all of those things, salacious things to keep it going when the answer is right in front of our face and it's Mariah Huck. That's the answer.
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I really do think I want the castmates to let us know. Like, do you guys think that Mariah should come back? Let us know in the comments below because we want to know what the audience actually wants to see. Moving on to another Bravo show that, to me, it's probably the best show on Bravo right now.
Which is what?
The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Chase, but they're doing it.
Okay.
Out of everything we're seeing right now, there's a lot there.
What would you
You
describe them in one word?
eclectic.
Zany. Z-A-N-Y. Zany. Like they're just
Well, this episode, the Mexico trip continued in this dramatic episode of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, bringing betrayals, confessions, and accusations to the forefront. The chaos began when Brittany was caught recording the group. Child, the ladies just got over Monica, and here's Brittany recording them in the van.
I was
Brittany,
rooting for Brittany.
it was.
I was rooting for her like throughout the series. I thought that they kind of, she was annoying, but I kind of like those kooky, zany
Yeah,
characters. But she is a
she's a
nutcase.
lot.
Yeah,
She's a lot.
I'm over it.
Although she claimed it was a mistake while making a video for her daughter, which do you believe that?
No, because she claimed 4 other things as well.
And then she finally said that it was just for her to use later, which is funny. Like, first you're gonna lie and say that this was for your daughter, then you're gonna say that it was for this, then you're gonna say that it was for nothing, and then you're gonna end on the fact that you was recording this just in case we needed it later.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I honestly feel like it could have also been like, girl, look, they fighting, in your little group chat with your friends. Girl,
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then you go do, and you send it off to your friends. You see what I'm saying? And you move on about it, and then your friends look at it and be like, "They got the inside scoop, they got the inside tea," and they also laughing because it's crazy, right? It could have been anything, but it wasn't. It wasn't whatever it was she said she was doing for her daughter. I know that.
Well, the group was outraged and everybody was walking. It's crazy because they were arguing with each other. But the moment that Angie said, wait, Brittany, are you recording us? Everybody just whoop, target on Brittany, and everybody started whacking Brittany. Um, Meredith became particularly suspicious about Brittany's actions and even accused her of planting something in her room.
Meredith has just seen too much. I was watching, like, are they really looking in the room?
Right. They were looking in the room, girl. Later, the women faced their fears on ATVs crossing a suspension bridge while above a canyon. While most were hesitant, Brittany and Whitney were the only ones brave enough to jump into the waterfall swimming hole. And it was just hilarious because Mary always won for commentary, added her concerns about potential stomach issues from swimming in the Mexico water.
Like, listen, and then even then, my love for JJ, I'm not putting my JJ in that. I'm sorry.
Right.
I don't know, and it's not about it being Mexican water. It's just any water. I don't play that.
No, yeah, it's
I just want to be clear.
Especially when you go overseas, you never know what's in those waters. You never know, and these things are not regulated.
Even if I go overseas, even if I'm in the seas, I'm not putting my JJ in the seas. You get what I'm saying? I'm not doing it. No seas for me.
At lunch, Brittany admitted to a personal secret. She wanted the room to, guys.
What?
I have something very, very, very personal to share with everyone.
Oh my God, Brittany, what is it?
I've been intimate with Jared.
Get your ass out of here. We know you, girl.
Girl, she told the girls that she was fucking Jared before marriage.
I mean, I get why it's a big deal, but didn't she literally just like kind of admit to like being able to have her way with a bunch of men or whatever it was?
She was dating Jared, didn't know where their relationship stood, and brought another guy to an event as her date, and claimed that this person that she was with was someone that she has been talking to for some time, even though she was with Jared. And then when Jared was finally ready to get back, she flipped it.
But here's the thing, right? And there's absolutely nothing wrong with any of that. I just think that it goes against her religion, and that's why.
Right.
So there is, from a religious standpoint for her, that is why it's so conflicted. But I mean, this is 2025, almost at 15. This is 2025, and you're a woman who gets to choose what she does with her body because you have autonomy, and hopefully, whoever you pray to will forgive you.
I agree. While some of the women empathized, others, like Meredith, were more focused on Brittany's behavior during the trip. Heather emphasized the importance of honesty and making it clear that secretly recording the group was unacceptable.
Mm-hmm. It was.
And I think that there's a lot to say about that because we all remember reality Von Teese. Even though I'm rooting for Monica to come back to this show, they're really traumatized by what happened last season. Even though I feel like they're overplaying it a little bit.
It's not that serious.
It's not that serious.
But Wellington, in real life, and I had to also apply it. Like, I look at it two ways. I look at it from a television standpoint and like in my personal life from a standpoint. In my personal life, I would never hang out with a bitch that had a burn book about me. It's a dub. It's a wrap. However, on this television show, you're going to bring your ass back in here and I'm going to wear you out. And it was obvious that Heather was missing a storyline. And so initially it felt like she was picking at Bronwyn because she had nothing else to do. When Monica is our storyline, I've always said Nene and Candy and Cynthia and Phaedra and Portia did not like Kenya. But were they going to tell Kenya not to come back season 6? Hell no. Come back here and get your lashings, girlfriend, because we need to make a successful show. And they all rose to make more money than they had ever made on that show before because they recognized that it was a unit that got them to where they were. And in this case, these girls pushed Monica out. And this season was amazing. So no, it did not necessarily need Monica, but imagine how much more dynamic and explosive it would have been with
Yeah.
Mark.
Yeah, I agree with you. And at this same lunch, Brittany addresses Meredith and she says, Meredith, are you okay? Because I heard you like coughing and vomiting in your room. And Meredith's like, I was not doing anything of the sort. What are you talking about? And Meredith gets pissed actually about that. She remained convinced that Brittany had planted a bug in her room after Brittany claimed to overhear her crying and coughing. Enlisting Heather's help, Meredith conducted a thorough search for a recording device, but found nothing. Of course, because do you really think that there, honey? At this point, when we're on a cast trip, there's cameras on you 24/7, unless people are sleeping. So, do you really think that Brittany was gonna get up, bug your room, and production wouldn't have caught it, or would have let her? I don't think production is that messy. Despite this, Meredith resolved to no longer open up to the group, accusing them of using her honesty against her. Do you think that Meredith is in too deep over her head?
Um,
What are your thoughts on her?
I would like to. She's pissed me off all season, and I've normally always been Team Meredith and the Romas and the
Mhm.
Nastinas and all of those things. I've always been Team Meredith, but this season she has consistently pissed me off. Um, I think that Meredith needs to figure out why. Just because I heard you coughing or throwing up outside of your room, do I think that it's a hearken to whatever struggles you have with, eating and all of those things? That may not have been what I was doing. I would just want to know, girl, what was going on? Now, what Brittany did that was wrong was she went to everybody but Meredith. So
Right.
yes, I have concern as to why, but I don't think that that was the angle Brittany was getting at. Brittany is just trying to,
Yeah,
do
I
what
actually
she
thought
sees the
Brittany
other
was just
girls
trying to
doing.
like be. She was just asking, girl. I
I
heard
don't think it was
vomiting.
that. I think it was like, oh, I heard this. Let me bring it up for camera time. Like that's what I think it was. I
I
don't
mean,
think she was concerned.
I
Because if
mean,
you're concerned, you're gonna ask me.
true,
She
true.
played Ring Around the Rosie or Posey, whatever it's called. She
Hmm.
ring around the Rosie with my business. And so yeah, you're gonna get cussed out. Because if that's what you actually heard me doing, why not knock on my door and say, hey girl, are you okay?
Right.
She didn't do that. She said, oh, I can't wait to bring this up tomorrow to the girls so I can have something else to film about and talk about, which is also reality TV 101.
Yeah.
But you cannot convince me that you're concerned about me when you don't show concern about me.
Yeah. Some girls are okay with bringing things up and just saying, "I'm bringing this up on the table because we're here to discuss it, not really because I'm concerned about you." And they're really careful with using those type of words that make it seem like disingenuous, you know.
I
So
wouldn't
I
have did it the way she did it.
Yeah, I agree with you. At dinner, Angie brings up that Bronwyn told Lisa about their conversation about Lisa. And this is when I feel like a little bit Bronwyn is being a little messy.
Bronwyn is very messy.
She is. She is. Whitney and Lisa feel it was convenient for Bronwyn to talk about them to Lisa in private in a way of getting into Lisa's good standing. Do you think that's what she was trying to do? Like throw them under the
Absolutely.
bus while I prop myself up?
And absolutely. And she's doing it because of the one time where at the very beginning of the season where they went back and told what she said in the car, and that pissed her off. She was
Mhm.
validated, she got her get back, she made the girls eat it, she made the girls know it. Now you move on from it. Instead, she's carried that out this whole season that nothing or nobody is safe. And in reality TV, hell in life, you got to have friends and allies. Like, girl, I might throw your business out, but I might not throw the other girl business out because that's my friend,
Right.
or whatever we talked about. Let the other girls figure it out. She overplayed her hand this
I,
season.
I don't. What is it with Bronwyn and wanting Lisa's approval? I just don't get it.
Everybody wants Lisa. Listen.
But
At
I
the end of the
just
day,
don't. But like in my head, I'm just like I don't understand why these girls go on this show and they just want Lisa and like somewhat Meredith too, but specifically Lisa. They all want to be Lisa's best friend, and
I'm gonna
Lisa's
say
not.
something. Go ahead.
To me, Lisa's not the fan favorite,
She's not.
and she's also not the one that again, she's not the fan favorite. She's not the queen. She's not the person that is trending. So in my head, I'm just like, why are you guys so keen to wanting to be her best friend? What are your thoughts?
She must be the queen of Salt Lake City, because maybe not the show,
But the actual
but
city.
the actual city. Look how connected she is enough to have a spinoff that is not about her, but to kind of be the bridge between the two Salt Lake shows. She
Yeah.
has the connections on that show. She has the connections on this show. She must be well connected. We know that she's been snooping around Housewives for years. She was at a scene on Beverly Hills. You
Yeah.
know,
Shots
she's
of
well
Sunset.
connected. Yeah, like she's shot the sunset. She's connected. And so no matter how much money those girls have, no matter how much status those girls have, they all seem to want to kiss the ring of Lisa, kiss the $60,000 ring of Lisa Barlow.
Of Lisa
With
Barlow.
essence, if you are looking at it from a fan favorite standpoint, the last
Mhm.
time people liked Heather Gay was when Heather Gay was telling Lisa Barlow to kiss her ass. You get what I'm saying? Like season
Yeah.
one, and she wore Lisa Barlow out at that season one reunion, but she was doing it half-heartedly because deep down in her heart of hearts, she really wanted to be that lady friend. And
Right.
so it takes girls like Mary, who we love Mary because Mary doesn't need any friends. And but we're glad that she has them. Don't get me wrong, but she's not going to
She
kiss.
has
She's not
one.
a, you know what I call it, booty lickers.
Yeah.
Mary's not a booty licker. We love
She's
that.
not.
She's not a booty licker. She's really not. And I also feel like Whitney wants to be Lisa's friend too, deep down.
She does. She
I
does.
feel like
And
Mary's the only person who does not
she, I
want to be
mean,
a lady's friend.
literally, Mary is the only person that doesn't want to be the lady's friend, because if whoever's not friends with Lisa wants to be her friend and is beefing trying to be her friend, and whoever's not beefing with Lisa is already her friend. And then you have Mary, who is like, this is my coworker. I'm not really seeing her like that. But I find it interesting because if I am Bronwyn, I am one of the new girls. You cannot say you never watched the show. You know you watched the show. I think everybody in Salt Lake City watches this damn show. So why not position yourself with Mary? You know, why not try to?
She is though.
I don't think so. I
Not on
really don't.
camera, but now she is like off camera.
But I
Like
think
they
it's.
become
But
really good.
I think this is the one thing I'm gonna say about some of these girls that pisses me off with the way that they deal with Mary. I think that they use Mary. Whitney tried to use Mary when the girls try to throw Mary out. Mary left, didn't come to the reunion because whatever, and then left for a
Hold on,
season.
wait. Ain't no whatever. Let me tell you why. I didn't watch season 3 out of boycott. I didn't pick back up Salt Lake City until Mary returned season 4. And the
Mhm.
reason why I stopped is because if you watch that season 2 finale, it was vile. And then they encouraged she who shall not be named to throw a glass at her. And then they're like, well, why did she at the reunion? She was not protected. And then
Right.
it comes out shortly after the reunion films that she who shall not be named
It's a
has
criminal.
all of those, yeah, all of those things that she had up on her Facebook and all of that stuff like that. And it totally validated Mary, in my opinion. And she still was not brought back season 3. And I thought
Damn,
it
you know
was
what's
fucked up.
crazy? It's crazy how sometimes traumatic moments you like keep them in the back of your head, because I just realized who you're talking about.
She who shall not be named.
Yeah. Disgusting human being.
Exactly. She was not protected against that lady. They
She
all
wasn't.
encouraged her. The only person who did not encourage it was Meredith. And then Meredith throwing up in her face, I've always had your back, made me feel like, well, was it from a standpoint of Meredith doing the right thing, or Meredith recognizing that, oh shit, this is
Yeah.
not going to look good when this goes down, and I need to make sure
That I
I'm on the
realigned
right side of
myself.
history, as opposed to just being on the right side of history.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so that's why, and I think that since that is unspoken and has not, whether they may have filmed a scene about it, but it hasn't aired. I think until then, Mary is always going to film with that group with the air of caution. Season 1, she wasn't necessarily like that. She was open to getting to know all of
Yeah,
the ladies. You know
she
what I
was.
mean?
She was.
So she wasn't always.
Until she felt like they were being weird, you know?
Yeah, she wasn't always like that, but you encourage her, get her. She who's not should not be named. Yeah. And
Mhm.
they were pushing her and she threw the glass at her, like the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
no. And that is the unspoken Maryism of Salt Lake City. Nobody has publicly apologized on camera for encouraging that lady to do what she did and supporting her, and not even Lisa Barlow, who brought the bitch on the show. Catch.
Right. Right. Well, Meredith asks Brittany how on earth she heard her crying and throwing up. Meredith tells Brittany that she is questioning whether or not Brittany put a recording device in her room. Mary says there's no way Brittany put a recording device in Meredith's room. Meredith is boring. She's not the funnest person in the world. What would you get from that? I'd fall asleep.
And who wants to hear a video of somebody throwing up? I got her now.
So Brittany denies putting a recording device in the room, of course. The ladies take a golf cart back to the hotel. Heather drops to Meredith that she said Meredith knows about tumultuous marriages and emotional affairs. Meredith did not like that.
I mean,
She said,
I would have liked it anyway.
What are you talking about? What are you saying? That was a loaded statement. Meredith tries to confront Heather, but Heather wants to search for bugs in the house.
Yeah, she was trying to get the hell up on out of Dodge. But that's why Heather sucks as a housewife, because I would have said 10 toes down, well, you ought to know because you was allegedly cheating on your husband, wasn't it? So maybe that's why you taking up.
She didn't think it was going to land like that, and she didn't think that Meredith was going to get so mad at her.
That's what the hell she said. That's what the hell I mean...
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you actually going to say that about her, stand 10 toes.
She was like, let's go, look, let's go ahead and just see if there's any microphones in the room. We've already done that.
Right. So Meredith sees that Heather is trying to change the subject, and she's pissed. She says, I am not going to let them defame me anymore. You shouldn't open up to anyone in this fucking group. I was honest, and now it's weaponized against me. I'm sure she can hear me now. And Meredith, and then Mary says, well, no wonder.
Well, huh? Mary says what? Go ahead.
And then Mary says, well, no wonder Brittany heard her because she was screaming.
You loud as hell, girl. Well, I hollered when she said something else and Whitney took off running from the door. I was like, they are so childish.
Childish.
That's the name I would scrap. Zany. Childish is what Salt Lake City housewives. Well, no, actually, that's what I reserved for. That's the word reserved for New York. Childish. Childish. So zany still applies. But girl, I don't need to. And why would Brittany need to bug your door if she was outside your door listening? All she had to do was stand outside your door and listen, and then listen.
And put the phone to the door.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Why would she need to do
that? Next week, the finale airs. I've seen the finale. It is riveting.
Is it going to top receipts, timeline, evidence?
I think it will, because receipts, timeline, and evidence was a gang up against one cast member.
Okay, don't give me nothing else. Thank you.
That's all I'm.
You know, I hate to be spoiled, honey.
No, and you know I can't even spoil it. So it's not like I'm
just saying. But you know, honey, I hate a spoiler.
Last season it was a gang up, and it was the girls came together to end one girl, and while it was great television, I love a finale where everybody's activated. And I think that this finale had all of the emotions that you go through when you watch Housewives. It made me sad. It made me happy. It made me angry. And it was entertaining. So great finale for the Salt Lake City girls. And I cannot wait to discuss it when it comes out.
I'm excited, divas.
So moving on to, and this is something that I don't even, every time my producer puts the Potomac segment in, we don't even talk about the show anymore, because it's like, who cares what's happening on the show? Nothing is more important than what's happening right now. The Real Housewives of Potomac fans were shaking to the core when videos from the night of Karen Huger's DUI from March 19, 2024 were released. In these videos, Huger appears inebriated as she argued with authorities. After those videos were released, OK Magazine talked to what the people say the princess, what the people say who the real grand dame of Potomac is, Karen's arch nemesis, Charisse Jackson Jordan, to get her thoughts on everything. Oh my God,
Who are the
Sharice.
people, and why are y'all saying that shit? Stop,
Well, let me tell you what Sharice said, Chase.
please.
And I quote, it's really sad because when you see those videos, that's a normal day in the life of Karen Huger. Insisting she was shocked by what she saw in them. No, that she was not shocked by what she saw in those videos and that this is the Karen that she knows at the core. Whacking her at her lowest moment, Chase.
Absolutely. She goes into that article describing other details, such as Karen actually has 4 DUIs, and one of them was reduced down to a probationary something or other, so that she didn't have to face any
Yeah, she
real
says, and I
conviction.
quote, one was actually reduced to a probationary type of thing so that you don't have to encounter conviction. With that
Like,
being said, that was 4 times she got caught. And I'm just glad in all of those years, no one, including herself, was hurt. I'm happy for the mere fact that hopefully she will never drive again. And hopefully, this is a wake up call for that. She needs to get help. It's as simple as that.
um, she needs help. She should not be drinking and driving.
She shouldn't.
She needs to examine her relationship with alcohol. I'm of the ilk of do whatever you want to do as long as it does not harm you or others.
Mhm.
She could have harmed herself and she could have harmed others. So now there's a conversation that needs to be had about her seeking help for that. I want to also go on the record and say I am a Ladam to the day I die. Okay.
Period.
However, I am hurt by Karen Huger. I am, even though I knew she was lying, I'm still betrayed by her because I wanted to believe her and I wanted the best for her because that's what you really do. You want the best for people. I don't even know Karen and I want the best for her, right?
Right.
Sharice knows her. And so Sharice does not want the best for her because she went ahead and allowed OK Magazine to lift up whatever rock she's been under since she got another um, dismissal from the Real Housewives of Potomac to come up, wig disheveled and all, sweaty, and give this dry ass, hating ass comment. This is the comment from a hater because what she's hated about Karen Huger is that she's always known these things about Karen Huger, and she knows that Karen Huger has given us the Grand Dame persona on the Real Housewives of Potomac, and she knows that to not be the lady that she actually does know. And so for us to love her for something that she's not, while Sharice is giving us whatever she's given us that is authentic, that she feels that is authentic, and we still choose Karen over Sharice, that
Right.
bothers Sharice. And you know what that is, Wellington?
What?
Hating. And so for me, you get nothing from me for being a hater. You get nothing from me from kicking somebody while they're down on their luck, back against the wind, trying to make it no way to win. You get nothing from me. What do you want, a tinker tape parade because you were right? Congratulations, you were right
Right.
about something so unfortunate. It's fucked up. And Sharice really
Right.
needs to take a look in the mirror and figure out why, after she did that article to get a little press, is her name going to fizzle out again in another week after we get done talking about this? Because she does not have it. She does not have the I or the T. She may have the credentials, as you mentioned earlier, but she definitely does not have the charisma. And that is why they keep letting her ass go from this show. And from now on, I don't want to hear nothing else about it. It's out. It is what it is. Now, what else is going on, Sharice? What else you got?
Right. Well, Cherie said that she lamented. She was really sad about the fact that the pair have known each other for 4 years and that Huger has worked to present herself on RHOP in a way that it is an accurate. It isn't an accurate depiction of who she really is. As an example, she even pointed out the fact that Karen doesn't drink a lot on camera, and that's because, and I quote, she knows once she gets going, she gets gone.
So then what you wanted to do, just drink on camera and get gone? Like, that's a hater.
Right. Because if Karen knows that she has an alcohol problem, why would she drink on national TV? And then you're using that to weaponize. You're weaponizing that,
That's weaponizing,
the,
yes.
the buzzword. You're weaponizing that against Karen.
Absolutely. And this is why Sharice continued to get what she gets. Nothing. Loser. Like, anyway, like, I hate that she chose, because you know what? I
Mm-hmm.
would have respected Sharice more if OK Magazine and everyone else has reached out to her and she says no comment. I respect her more because that shows to me that Sharice could have said anything that she chose to say. She could have reveled in the fact that she was right. Ha ha, I gotcha. She could have got a gotcha moment, and she elected not to because guess what? It's already done. The business has already been handled. The deed has already been done because the seed has already been planted. But instead, you chose to kick her down while she was already 6 feet under, 2 more feet. You're trashy for that. That's trash.
And I don't know if she thinks that this is gonna somewhat get her back on the show. I feel like the producers have already kind of like, okay, you try to do your big one last season, but we're kind of over it.
How many times do you want to keep getting fired?
And you're not even coming back at a capacity where we're really seeing anything. You're coming at a capacity to just try to come at Karen, and she's not really giving you the time of day.
And it's so crazy because I actually don't mind Sharice being on the show. I don't mind it personally, right? I do think that Karen needs someone to challenge her. I do. But am I blind to the fact that the challenge is rooted in hate?
Right.
I'm not. You know, it's
Like
a lot
that.
of hateration and holleration in that dancery. And so I always thought that Sharice should stay in some sort of a role, guest, maybe friend. Like a lot of people hate Sharice, like a lot of the viewers.
Yeah.
I don't. But when this is all that you continually, consistently offer to me is a bunch of hateration and holleration, girl, get out the dancery. I'm over it.
I want to get your thoughts on the fact that Essence Magazine slammed Mia Thornton for her messy storyline on RHOSLC. What do you think about that when that came out?
Good.
The article was an opinion article, and it read, "There's nothing entertaining about Mia Thornton's Real Housewives of Potomac storyline. Mia is right to not want to stay in a toxic relationship, but between her ever-changing stories, moving her boyfriend in immediately with her kids, and those Instagram posts, could she go about this any worse?" I think that's... I would have gagged if that came across my desk. Essence Magazine gagging me.
She don't care. She doesn't
probably
even care.
She probably took it as, like more fame back.
Right. That's how she takes it. Any press is good press for Mia Thornton. And so I think the best press is not to even mention her. I think that hopefully her kids, when they grow up, they don't have any access to this show because they're going to be furious to anything because they're going to be furious with her. Furious.
Right. Well, I found it interesting that while Essence is whacking Mia, the NAACP is nominating Potomac for Outstanding Reality Program.
I'm rooting for everybody black, and that's NAACP awards. So, listen, I think that's good for them. I won't go there.
But, okay, so while you won't go there, I will.
Okay, go ahead.
So, I urge the NAACP, specifically when it comes to the reality. I'm not going to talk about the other awards because that's none of my business. But when it comes to the reality programs that you guys are nominating, there's some black reality programs doing the work that deserve nominations.
I agree. Yes.
And while you and while you are nominating, I guess, Potomac because it might be the highest rating or the one with the most eyes, I would like for your committee to kind of like do more research and not only just nominate based on cultural and pop culture impact, but also based on storyline, production, casting, because all of those things matter. Like you said, Summer House Martha's Vineyard, it's no reason why Summer House Martha's Vineyard was not nominated for the NAACP award for reality program.
And that when I think about the national, the national advancement, NAA. So what's the other A? I used to know it, but the advancement of colored people. The National Association of Advancement for Colored People is what I believe.
Yep.
I think of Summer House. I don't think of Potomac.
In Summer House Martha's Vineyard, we saw a lot of depictions of different sides of blackness. While Summer House was also critiqued about only showing one side, I do feel like, again, there's other shows that are really doing the legwork. There's other casts that are really doing the legwork, that are not really just trying to give drama, but also trying to give story, trying to give history. So I think that you should look into all of that when nominating certain shows for outstanding reality programs, especially when we're talking about the NAACP Image Awards.
And I was right about NAACP, by the way. I just want to let y'all know.
The National Association of Advancement for Colored People.
Okay.
But either way, congratulations to the Real Houses of Potomac.
Yes, congratulations to Potomac.
Because even though, while I may feel like it's not deserved, I think that shout out to those producers, because they worked hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's not their fault that the talent is giving what the talent is giving, you know. Mm-hmm. And I think that even though the talent is giving what the talent is giving, those producers are still working hard. They gave us a new intro, they gave us new graphics, they gave us new dimensions to the show. They brought in 3 new girls, so the production side is working. So congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a reset season, you guys. I think that that's something that needs to be just briefly mentioned before we go. It's a reset season. And also, if you're a long-time Potomac viewer, I feel like this is what Potomac was before Candace got cast. So go back and watch season 1 and 2.
Interesting. But do you think now that you see where we're going, Karen didn't show up to the reunion. She's in rehab. We don't know the future of Karen in the show. Do you think that avenue is open for Candace to come back?
Yeah, I think the door should always be open for Candace to come back. But I see what y'all trying to do with Robin because of traitors. And no, thank you. No, God, Miss Quat. No, ma'am, no ham, no turkey. We don't want her.
She is doing great on Traitors, though.
Oh, well, let her do great over there. I'm sure
right.
A lot of things that else she could do. A lot of other shows she could do. She could do Survivor All Star. She could do any of those All Stars.
Big Brother, Celebrity Big Brother, Dancing with the Stars,
Big Brother All Star, American Gladiators. Like that's just a.
not American Ninja Warrior.
There's a lot of stunt shows that she could do. Put stars on Mars, send her ass out of space, but don't bring her ass back to Potomac. Okay, thank you.
Bitch, send her ass back out of space, bitch. Stop playing. Oh Lord, well, I'm gonna leave it right there. That is all she wrote, guys. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Reality Right After. And thank you, Chase, for joining me for this episode. Let the people know where they can find you.
First of all, I want to say thank you for always having me over here. I love it.
Oh my God. How could I forget? I wanted to ask you this one question.
Ooh, you scared the shit out of me. What is it?
How did it feel for No Chaser TV to be named one of the most watched brands in 2025?
To be, named amongst, first of all, that list was a list full of heavy hitters. That list, I am very honored to be in that company. I'm honored to be mentioned. I'm honored to be noticed. We're hitting our 1-year anniversary in March. And so we've really covered a lot of groundwork for No Chaser TV to be even mentioned and recognized along with that. So I want to thank the Reality Rundown for recognizing everyone, based off of the content of their work and not the size of their following. And there were some big people on that list, so I'm just honored to shoulder space with all of them, and I'm really happy that you guys recognized it, because for a lot of people, the No Chaser TV thing is just almost a year in, but I have been doing this for a very long time. Yeah. And so it's just like, I put it like this: you can be the best singer in the room, but if nobody's in the room to hear you, then does anybody hear you? And I think No Chaser TV was me making sure that everybody heard me for once, and I'm just so grateful that it's being recognized. So thank you for that.
Well, I'm proud of you, friend. You're doing it.
Thank
so tell the people where to find you.
You can find us at No Chaser _TV on Instagram and Twitter, and I believe on Blue Sky as well as that. Then at the No Chaser TV on TikTok and Lemonade, the app. We're on Facebook at Facebook No Chaser TV, and I believe our YouTube, which is the most important thing. Go over there. YouTube, we have all types of reviews, and we have Hot Topics, which is called Happy Hour, every Wednesdays at 6:15 p.m. Eastern Standard at No Chaser TV. Make sure it's the right one because there's another one. Somebody just popped that up, but that's not the real one. You'll know it's us because you'll see this beautiful face, and you'll look for the gold neon sign. No Chaser TV.
And if you're watching us on YouTube, it's gonna be linked in the description box, so you just gotta go and click it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate being here. I always have a good time.
Of course, of course. Thank you to all of the castmates for listening. Again, make sure you follow the Reality Rundown for all things reality TV on Instagram, and make sure you subscribe to our channel to stay updated with all things reality TV. I am your host, Welington Gomez. It has been an amazing time. See you next week with more guests and more cackles and more drama. Bye.
Bye.